Hey, welcome to Lead Gantt. In this video, we're talking about collaborating, sharing, and commenting, and also leveraging all the features that Google Sheet has to offer. We built Lead Gantt on Google Sheets because Google Sheet is just amazing. I just love Google Sheet too much. And today we'll be talking about sharing your Lead Gantt, how you can share them, sharing permissions, sharing between two or more licensed users, and also sharing between licensed and unlicensed user, and what it would look like if you were to share it with somebody who hasn't got a license or who has got a license, and what happens to the mini and the sub projects that we've already got in Lead Gantt. So that's coming up. Sorry about the really wide screen this time. The reason being that I've got to show you different things, sharing with different people, and I've got to show them in one screen. So hence the reason for a bigger one. So a bigger screen. So let's get into sharing your Lead Gantt. So let's just see how we can share it. So if you wanted to share it, it's very simple. Once you've created your Lead Gantt and you've added or created your entire project, it's super easy. If you just click on the share button, it opens up a dialog box, and all you have to do is type in the name of the person that you would like to share it with. You can also click on this little gear icon and select editors can change permissions and share. So do you want them to be able to share this with somebody else? If not, you can untick that and come out of it and press the done button, and this will share that sheet with that person. Now let's check out what happens when you share Lead Gantt between two people who both have a license, or at least they're both in trial of Lead Gantt. So all you have to do is, I'll just show you here. That's the reason I'm presenting in a bigger window today. So let's look at this sheet. Now this sheet, sharing and collaboration Lead Gantt, is shared with two people. So I've got two different accounts. These are two different browsers. So you'll see that I've got my recording account that I use to create all these videos, and I've got another account that I use for my usual work and everything. So basically, I use my recording account to create the sheet, and then I actually shared that with my other account, and now I've got both of them open side by side in another window. So if I was to come back here and add maybe subtask, you'll notice that it automatically adds the subtask right here, and you'll see that the number is also generating. I can come down here and add task 2, for example, add more subtasks to this thing, and it'll generate. And I can then go maybe add another section of 10, and it will generate in real time for that person as well. What you need to be careful is that both of you are not pressing, both of you are not trying to add a section simultaneously below the same things, because the script's going to run on both sides. Now, if, for example, I'm adding a lot of tasks over here, and somebody else is adding more tasks over here, let's say go test, and more details are being added. So it will work, but sometimes you might find that there could be a conflict where you are both working on the same cell and same things are happening. So it is important that you know. I would suggest, for best practice, that one person creates the entire project plan. Once the project plan is created, or whatever the plan of execution is, you've got all the steps in there, and that's when you start sharing with people, so that instead of so people coming in and instead of adding more tasks or adding sections to it, are actually doing more stuff to actually update their progress on it or leave comments for something. So in here, it's very easy. You can add all of these things, but in any case, for example, one of the tests that we were doing, we found that if we were on both cells, then somehow this auto number did not generate. But that shouldn't be an issue, because you can press the refresh Gantt button and it will do the same thing, and it'll regenerate the numbers or the dates or anything that needs to be done. So So that's about sharing between two licensed users. So let's look at what would happen if I was to share another sheet, and I'm the licensed user, but I'm actually sharing with another account that hasn't got a Lead Gantt license, or doesn't even have Lead Gantt installed as an add-on in their sheet. So we went back into the main project. So we had this, and I shared that with another account that I had, and that account is not signed up. So this is I use an incognito window to log in there, and I've got all the details. This is now using yet again another account that has all the details. Now you'll notice that if I was to come in here, let's say I add another section to this thing, that section would be added and it will be fine, it'll work. And now we are working in the actual sheet because the project has started. So on this side, the person who hasn't got it will also be able to see that, but they will not be able to create any of these things. So if they were to add more tasks to this, let's see what happens. More tasks. So they can add more tasks, but you'll see that the script did not fire because on my right side, this person who's adding these tasks hasn't really got hasn't got a licensed version, or at least a trial version of Lead Gantt, and that's where you'll see that these numbers will not generate, or this would not work. So the easiest thing to do is that you create all the things, and the people that you're sharing, you can share with anybody who's got a Gmail address or a G Suite or Google Workspace email address. You can share it with anyone, and they can come in and add comments. They can also come in and add use the text fields, add their updates over here. They can select a task, right click on that task and go comment, and I wanted to check if this would be completed in time, and they can leave their comments here, and you'll be able to see these comments. So if you go back into the account on my left, which is the paid account, you'll see that they've raised an issue, and I can now resolve it, or I can reply here, and if I have to resolve it, I can just press the tick and it'll go there. It'll also, if you click on the chat button, it'll also have all the communication that you had with this regarding this so far with them. So what you need to remember is that you make sure that the person adding this stuff or utilizing the features of Lead Gantt must have a license, or at least a trial of Lead Gantt, for it to be able to function correctly. So if I was to come back into this side, and let's say somebody did create all of this, and I came in and I saw that the numbers didn't generate, or stuff didn't happen, all I have to do is click on refresh Gantt, and this will refresh everything and generate the numbers that need to be generated. So that's the only thing. So it can be shared with people who haven't got access to it, but it's just easier if they have a license themselves as well. Sharing mini and sub projects, it's the same thing because each one of them is an individual Google Sheet where Lead Gantt runs on top of Google Sheet. And I basically designed it so that we could leverage off all these really good features that Google Sheet already comes with inbuilt. So you've got this sheet, but however, this sheet is not really shared with the person, whether they've got a license or not. If you want them to be able to have access to it, you will need to share that sheet as well. The easiest thing to do is to put all related sheets to a single project in one folder, and then share that folder with anybody who's going to be part of that project. But you can also do that individually, and it works the same way. You click on the share button, you open the sheet that's connected. So let's say I open that sheet, and I can then click on the share button and share that sheet individually with that person. So it could be because there's a team that works on a certain part of the project or a certain task, and they don't need to know anything about the finance side of things, for example, and you've got a finance team working on the finance side of things, or for example somebody who's only doing, in case of marketing, who only does video editing, and they don't need to see what's going on in your blog post, for example, or the content or the text that needs to be written. So if you've got those kind of projects attached to it, you can share them with different people for that. So yeah, so that's how all the sharing and collaboration features work in Lead Gantt. There's one more thing before I go, and that's notification. So you'll see under your chat there's a section called notification, and I can click on that and I can say, you know, all notifications are only mine or none. So you can click on all these things. Also, I think under tools, they've got notification rules. So if you click on that, it'll say notify this email address when any changes are made. A user submits a form, or some changes is made. If it is a form, especially, or notify me with an email daily digest, or email me right away whenever a change has been made here. So these are certain features that are already in there. They're already built into it, and we've just leveraged them by creating Lead Gantt. And I hope you love them as much as I love them. All the very best.